Wife cheated on me and left our son. My 28M wife, 24F, cheated on me and left our son, 2M, and I. Relationship length, 5 years. We met on Facebook and hit it off. Went on a couple dates, etc. I asked her out and she said yes. 1 week into our relationship, she confessed that she cheated on me with her ex-boyfriend, Duck Buddy. She baked me a pie and said sorry and that it was a mistake and she wanted to continue with me. Since the relationship was so new, and let's face it, maybe I was desperate, I agreed to continue the relationship. We were seemingly very happy after that and moved on and never spoke of it again until recently. We got together when she was 19 or 20, she was living with her parents. I was about 24 years old, living on my own in my own house. If memory serves, she moved in with me about 6 months, 1 year in. I agreed to move into a rental closer to home so we could be around our families and friends more. My previous house was about 20 to 25-minute drive away. We are totally happy, traveling all around our state visiting attractions and hiking, vacationing, etc. She is a more quiet/shy person. Very stubborn and loves flooding social media with our adventures. About 2 to 2.5 years into the relationship, she tells me she's pregnant. It's unexpected as I thought she was on birth control, but I feel really solid about our relationship and am excited to open up this chapter of my life. We have our child. He arrived on the exact day the doctors predicted and labor was less than an hour. Couldn't have gone better. Perfectly healthy baby boy. She floods social media with pictures of our life together. Even up to this point, it's safe to say we never had a fight, we would agree to disagree at most, and look down on other couple who would always have quarrels. We were super thankful we had each other and, I thought, understood each other and our needs. Fast forward and our son is 2 years old. A week or two after his birthday, she surprised me with yet another positive pregnancy test. She is excited, I'm in shock and excited. She's only a week along, but she's telling all our family and friends about it and planning everything out because yes, we wanted our son to have a sibling. She had a termination. Something was wrong and we took her to the hospital. She had to have a fallopian tube removed right away. It's during COVID, so I'm waiting in the car for 12+ hours while they prepped and performed surgery on her as I couldn't come inside. The surgery is over and she seems all right. It was obviously sad, but with it being such a short pregnancy, I thought maybe there wouldn't be much fallout. I was ignorant at the time on the side effects of that kind of surgery on a woman. With her being so reserved and stubborn and private, I sensed nothing was wrong and we continued on our daily lives. Going to work, paying mortgage, etc. It might be worth noting I quit my job during this time to pursue school and a different job in my desired field. We were not ever struggling financially. A month or two passes by and she's hanging out with a friend who is constantly in an on-off relationship and is basically a single mom recently turned not straight. They go to the bar together often. I'm totally cool with it as I know she needs girl time being a mom and working. And I love spending time with my boy. She drives home tipsy and late at night. It starts to become a weekly habit. I notice our bed life deteriorate. It never was a very active bed life as she never seemed the type to be super active, but I worked with her through that. But it got to the point where it was almost never and I brought it up. Suddenly she says she wants to take a break and live with her parents for a bit. I say okay, maybe some space will refresh things. I even offered to give her a stack of money and fly a couple states over where her best friend moved and have a girls' week. She declines. A week after the break started, I ask if she ever plans on coming home as Valentine's Day is approaching. Radio silence. She says she needs more time and continues going to the bar. She texts me the day before V-Day and says the spark is gone but still wants to give me my gift. Valentine's Day comes and she doesn't want to see me but agrees to having a family dinner the day after. We have dinner and she acts as if nothing is happening but is distant. I try to appear happy but give her some space as well. We exchange gifts. I give her a smartwatch and $70 flowers and her favorite candies. She gave me a $15 jar with a magnifying glass for looking at MJ. At this point, I don't even smoke. She leaves. The next day I ask if we would be a whole family again. She said she used that dinner to see if I could get the spark back, but said I failed. I didn't know I was being tested like that and was quite frustrated. This was the hardest time in my life as I already have abandonment issues stemming from my own mom and dad. Things get worse. I discover she's been cheating on me with the bar manager who is 34 with 2 kids of his own and has HPV. I'm very close friends with his co-workers at the same bar who tell me not a single good thing about him and even label him as offensive towards vulnerable women. The worst time in my life is magnified, and I would say I was thinking dark thoughts if it wasn't for the thought of leaving my son. I stay at my parents' as I can't bear to be in the house we raised our son in. I have nightmares every night and can't sleep more than 4 to 5 hours for a month. Her parents are livid with her and threaten to kick her out, but I'd be terrified who my son would be around on the days she has him. She continues to use alcohol and see this guy as much as she can. She says she uses him as a crutch to get her through. I did everything in my power and within the law to stop this from happening. It's embarrassing, but I even confronted the guy and tried to bribe him to stay away from her. I needed to try everything. I desperately want my family back together. It's to the point now that her parents said to either drop the guy and get through whatever it is she needs to get through without her crutch or be kicked out, and they would keep the child on her days. She destroyed my family and is pushing hers away. We are all baffled about what is going through her mind that she wouldn't even attempt to fix her family for the sake of her son. She claims she needs to find herself. What do I do? Do I wait and try to salvage my relationship? Is it a lost cause? I want nothing more than to be with her and my son in a happy home. I cheated on my fiancé and regret it deeply. I'm taking full responsibility here, there is no excuse. We got together 5 years ago, we're still young, me, F23, and him, M26. I know a lot of people here will say, just break up and move on, you're both young, but we love each other too much and breaking up is not an option. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to keep him. A little backstory, me and my brother grew up in a very offensive home. My father was a drunk and we became people pleasers, obsessed with new attention and always seeking new people. In my case, I became some sort of 403, one could say. Really low self-esteem. I'd get involved with anyone that could give me the slightest piece of attention, not because I was attracted to them. Only male friends because the attention was so much better than female friends could give me, but I knew their true intentions. It didn't matter though, as long as I got my attention. Before him I had one boyfriend who cheated on me and I cheated on him for retaliation, so I was always very leery. When I met my fiancé, everything changed. He was enough, the way he treated me like a princess and how he took care of me was just perfect. A bit of a rough patch at the beginning of the relationship because I was still on this male friend of mine is not hitting on me mode, when most of them clearly were beyond flirty, but that was fixed quick and we had the best 2 years of my life. I was crazy loyal to him. Every guy that would hit on me or even message me, I'd block and send a screenshot to him. He got a job on a models agency, got in touch with a lot of famous people and gorgeous women, started to travel a lot, business related, and suddenly changed his cell phone password. He became friends with a girl that confessed her love to him, but he turned her down. I saw the messages. My brother saw him days later talking to her on the street and that wrecked me. He convinced me nothing happened, but I was so tired of feeling like this. My phone was always there for him to check, he knew my password and I had nothing to hide. One time I was checking his phone and he swiped it from my hand very abruptly. He was acting so suspicious and I was losing sleep over it. All my family, female friends and acquaintances were taking me for a fool, saying he hang out with models, of course he cheats. I was getting crazy over this situation. I got a job in a hospital, and when I told people there that I had a boyfriend who worked in a famous models agency, they all laughed. I became the running joke of the hospital. They would taunt me all the time saying, "Where is your boyfriend?" Working with models of course and being loyal, lol, I cried every day. Even my boss would make fun of me, saying, "Stop being stupid, he cheats on you and you look like a nun, you never talk to nobody, behaving like the perfect girlfriend, put some makeup on, let people in a little, you're young, live your life." I never had any feelings for this guy, he was not pretty to me or anything, my boss, but once I followed his advice he started to compliment me saying how beautiful I was and we were always looking at each other. For me, it was like my old way was coming back. I wanted the attention, the compliments, the thrill of being a teenager again and meeting new people. One day he kissed me and I kissed him back. We started to text each other a lot, even though I knew on my heart, my boyfriend cheated on me with some of the girls he worked with. I felt guilty, and kinda have used my boss as a way to get even. The closeness was not good, he never made me finishing on his own and he was in home most of the time, but when my boyfriend was acting suspicious again, hiding his phone or saying I was crazy for thinking he was cheating, I would meet my boss. We had closeness like 4 times, but only because I turned him down with excuses most of the time, and kissed like 3 times. That was in the course of 2 months. Later on the bigger boss there fired me, and a bunch of people for unrelated reasons. He called me to his place a lot, I never accepted and with time we stopped talking, just the occasional text here or there, but nothing flirty or anything. That became my life. Every time I felt like he was betraying me, I would fall in my old ways and seek male attention. In the same year that I was with my boss, months later, a friend of my mother started to hit on me. He got my number when she was sick and he was helping her out, exchanged photos and kept in touch for a while. The only reason we were not sexual was because when we met the first and only time his kiss was the worst ever and I couldn't keep up. Turned him down a lot when he asked me to Netflix and chill but kept in touch occasionally till it ended. When my boyfriend was acting up again I'd unblock some ex-fling of mine or someone I knew would hit on me. I cheated on him online the next year with 3 people for a short period of time, since they would stop giving me the attention I wanted and texting was the only thing they were down for. I got another job last year and physically cheated on him once again. He was literally living in a model house project for the course of 3 months. It was the worst time emotionally for me, with a guy I kissed once when I was like 14. Exchanged photos, texting, and I met him in his friend's house nearby. We had closeness, but he came in like 2 minutes. It was really frustrating. He washed up and came back, but I was kinda frustrated and in like 10 minutes I gave an excuse and left. He was always messaging me, so I blocked him. Remember the guy I cheated my last boyfriend? I unblocked him and we started to talk. At this time I was 100% back in my old ways of seeking male attention. He was ill and never wanted to send me candid photos the way I asked him, like shirtless, since he was an aspiring bodybuilder, and everything. His libido was down bad because of the medication and he turned me down when I asked to have closeness with him. We met 5 times, 3 in the bus. I'd go all the way back to the same bus stop I was just to spend time with him, 1 in the train. Nothing happened, we just talked. 1 nearby my house, he wanted to kiss me but I refused since I was terrified of someone seeing us walking close to each other. But the times in the bus we kissed, his kiss was not the best, but I loved the attention. I loved to remember the stories of when we were younger, etc. We tried BJ on the bus for like 3 seconds, but his libido was totally off, so it was more kissing and talking than anything. When he was better, he called me to sleep with him, but I turned him down since he did the same to me. My boyfriend asked me to marry him and I said yes, but was feeling really guilty. Our relationship was weird because he was tired of me being so leery towards him and I was tired of feeling like he was betraying me. We were fighting a lot, so the wedding was postponed. We kinda gave up on the relationship. I got close to 0 attention from him, and that was horrible. We were together for like 5 years already, and were always all over each other like rabbits. The closeness was great, the best I've ever had, but at this period of time we were like strangers. I was still working in the same place, and there was a security guard that I knew when I was younger. We started to text each other a lot, but with him it was different. The attention he gave me was very close to the type of attention my boyfriend used to give me. We talked about everything, life, problems, we shared a lot of stuff and I started to miss him, think about him every day, and was in love. His kiss was really good and we'd meet in an empty stairwell he knew, went to a motel a couple of times. Even though the closeness was really quick, he couldn't control himself in a very small private area. He was really thoughtful, funny, he took care of me and gave me the attention I wanted. We got together like 20 times on the course of 3 months, had closeness on the stairwell 3 times and 2 times on the motel nearby the place we worked. He was married and had a baby daughter. I hated the fact that I was helping him to destroy a family, and I was feeling beyond guilty because this time it was different. Wasn't about revenge anymore. I was thinking about him constantly, had like a strong crush and loved the attention. I tried to end things with him a couple of times, but every time he'd text me and I refused, he would say, "If you don't come to this stairwell, I'll never talk to you again." And on my mind it was like, I will tell my fiancé about this, and he will never forgive me for it, so I'll keep this other guy around for the attention, so I'd still meet occasionally, but nothing sexual anymore. Out of the blue, my relationship with my fiancé improved. He was the loving man I was crazy obsessed with from the beginning of the relationship once again, and I was finally happy again, but really depressed and scared because now that our relationship was better, I was looking at the other man very differently. I didn't want anything with him, I wasn't attracted to him anymore. I confessed some of it to my fiancé, and it was really hard at first. I cried a lot, was very ashamed and gaslight most of it, but he was going through my phone like crazy and discovered some things. Broke up with me, and I was desperate, selfish, and wanted some attention, stability, so I started to lie to this other guy, but he was kinda tired of me since I was not giving him any attention when my relationship with my fiancé got better again. So I saw myself alone with zero attention. My fiancé blocked me on everything. I decided to lie to this guy saying I loved him and wanted to be his girlfriend, but he sent me a 2 minutes voice message saying, "You say one thing and do another, I'm tired, I can't trust you." I didn't respond. My fiancé agreed to meet me and found out about this last conversation we had, and he was destroyed thinking I really loved him. I never for a second stopped loving my fiancé. His wife also found out and got in touch with my fiancé. They probably ducked in retaliation, and together they discovered everything about me and her husband. She backed some of what I told him, like the fact that her husband was 24, needed pills for his hardwood. I told him about every other guy, even the ones he would never and could never discover on his own. Came 100% clean, and since then he agreed to give me another chance when he found out about the notes I wrote on my phone about how depressed I was because thought he was cheating on me, back in 2018/2019. I gave him every piece of detail he asked me, and since I made a fool out of him in front of the people I cheated on him with, and some coworkers who knew about my last affair, I thought it was only kind of fair I made a public love gesture. Made a tattoo of his name on my wrist, zero privacy, gave all my passwords, 100% patience for the ups and downs, changed my phone number and deleted all social media. I accept that he will never be my legal husband since he said I just can't go to my wedding dressed in a suit saying I love you in front of everybody to a girl who did this to me. And since his consequences of my acts will be forever on his mind, it's only fair that I'd have consequences that will last forever too, so I give up the dream of having children. I never got any evidence that he was in fact cheating on me, never could prove, and right now I know he'll duck other women on retaliation. I'm able to live with that for some time, till he feels like a man again. He says he doesn't now. I want to know what more can I do to make this situation any easier. We both want to keep together forever. He is my best friend, and right now I'm certain that I will never cheat again. I don't want any attention for anyone but his. I am a horrible person, but I know I can change. I want to change and will change. I started therapy this last month. We spent some time apart, and that helped me to realize how much I love him. People who got betrayed, what can I do to show him even more that I'm willing to go through everything to keep him in my life? I won't cheat on him again. I never cheated on him like that, only when he was showing signs of his cheating. But right now I quitted my job. My brother hates me and I lost a lot of weight because the whole situation. I am going to change and I will be the best woman I can be. I was crazy loyal to him for 2 years on the relationship, and that was not even remotely hard for me to do. I forgot to mention, but I had some urinary infections before and the doctor asked about unprotected contact. I was already thinking it was because of him ducking other women and bringing me these things. So, yeah, most of the time was with protection.